Cerebral palsy is a congenital disorder of movements, muscle, tone or posture due to abnormal brain development, often before birth. For more on this condition, let's spend a day with retired Air Vice Marshal FEMI GBADEBO, OFR, founder, CEO Benola, a cerebral palsy initiative.
It's time for another insightful interview on our world. Today, we're going to be spending a day with a daddy who is passionate about humanity, especially children in special needs. You'll meet him after the break. My name is Ajah. Welcome back. Our guest is retired Air Vice Marshal FEMI GBADEBO, Officer of the Federal Republic, founder, CEO of Benola, a cerebral palsy initiative. Nice to have you on our world today, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Briefly tell us a bit more about yourself.
As you said, I'm a retired Air Vice Marshal. That means I used to be in the Nigerian Air Force, where I rose to the rank of a 2-star general. That's like a major general. I was a qualified instructor pilot, so I used to teach people how to fly airplanes. And I had many appointments before I retired in 2008.
What was your favorite subject in school at our age?
My favorite subject, honestly, was English.
What informed your decision about Benola initiative?
In 1996, myself and my wife, we had a boy. He was born premature, but then he was quickly diagnosed with this condition of cerebral palsy. We managed him variously within Nigeria and outside Nigeria because being a pilot and being in the Air Force, I travel out from time to time. So we took him out from some of the places. So we tried for him. By the time I retired in 2008, I had been away from home for like 12 years where the mother was managing him fully. And I thought that I needed to spend more time to know how I could help. And in the process, I got to realize that there's very little information in Nigeria about this. There's a lot of fear. People think it is infectious, it is contagious, somebody is drooling, you're running away, and so on. And I thought we need to raise awareness about this thing.
What is the meaning of cerebral palsy?
I like to explain to people that it's a condition, it is not an illness, it is not a condition or a disease. It is the result of a damage to a part of the brain of the child. This damage can happen during the formative stage in the womb of the mother or during the birth process when the child doesn't come out in time and there's what you call oxygen starvation. So the child cannot breathe normally, and that starvation affects the brain. Then you have some children who are born okay, but then very early, before they are 3, 4 years old, they have illnesses like meningitis, yellow fever, jaundice, etc. that are not properly treated. Maybe the wrong dosage of a medicine or the wrong medicine is given that affects their brain. So now you have a part of the brain that controls motor movements that is not functioning well. Then you also have muscles that are either stiff or very loose. So a person with cerebral palsy will not be able to control their hand and body movements, legs, and it can affect you on one side of your body. So that one side is okay and the other side is not okay. It can be that just the lower side is affected. So the child cannot walk, cannot do certain things, but can speak well, can move the hands well, and it can affect your whole body in a way that the child cannot speak, or if he speaks, he's not clearly audible, and can move his hands, affects his eyes, and then most importantly, they drool. You know what it means to drool? Yes, because you see, the tongue is the most active muscle in our body. Its job is to, stop us from, choking, having dry mouth, and also swallowing. So that's why we have saliva. The saliva there is to moisten our mouth. And every time you are just unconsciously swallowing that saliva. So if you don't have control on your tongue, the excess saliva will seep out. That's why they drool. Okay?
How can parents help children with cerebral palsy?
The first thing is that they have to get knowledge. They have to get an understanding of what this condition is. You see, when you don't have knowledge, you are afraid of certain things that you don't know. But as you get knowledge, which you can get from, websites like Benola's website, the internet, or even the right medical experts, they cannot be cured, but you can manage them. With management, what looks like a child that will not walk, that will not go to school, that will not do this, the child may end up doing reasonably well. So the parents need to get knowledge, need to understand what is there, need to understand how they can manage this child's condition and assist the child to live a better life as time goes on.
What role should government play?
Okay, we are all citizens of this country and by implication, children of government. Government has a responsibility. In the developed world, I'm talking about Europe, America, Canada, Australia, and Germany, so on, they have recognized that these children are sick through no fault of theirs, and so they help with the management. Like I said, the medications are expensive. The devices that you use, whether it is glasses or hearing devices or wheelchair or walking aids and so on, they're expensive. Some of the children at some stage will need to have surgery to correct maybe a stiffened leg or arm or waist or even their spinal cord and so on. So what government is supposed to do is to help with funding. Even in terms of food, some of them, even at age 10, 12, they are not able to eat the normal food that you and I will eat because their digestive system is also affected. So they need to eat a lot of soft food, they need to take a lot of nourishment. And so one of the things that we are doing is trying to educate government about the needs of these children, what the parents need to do, and how government and private sector can come in to introduce programs and introduce what you call support in terms of funding and so on.
Is cerebral palsy contagious?
No, it is not. It is not contagious. It is not infectious. It is not a hereditary condition. So if somebody has CP, it doesn't mean that they will have children that have CP. Of course, there have been rare situations where you find a mother with 2 children with CP. But again, it's about the management of the pregnancy. I'm sure with time you'll get to understand that once a woman discovers that she is pregnant, we can be as early as 4 weeks. She's supposed to be going to hospital regularly for assessment and advice on what to eat, how to exercise, and so on and so forth. Because if she does the wrong thing, it could affect the growth of that child.
When you're less busy, how do you relax?
I don't relax. So. You see, you get to a stage in life when you realize that time is no longer on your side. And if you are lucky that God is able to put something on your mind to let you know that this is your purpose in life. It's not about making money, but it's about making as much impact as you can within the time available. Nobody knows how much time he has left.
What are your favorite things like food, music, and color?
Green is the color of cerebral palsy awareness. Okay? When I was younger, I would say white, I would say black and blue. But as I started doing what I'm doing, I realized that I also have to represent what I'm telling people. Food, my favorite food, honestly, is a Nigerian meal, preferably swallow. I don't like to waste time about eating. Entertainment, movies. Honestly, I enjoy anything that is done well. So sports. I watch every sport.
What do you want to be remembered for?
That I made a difference in this life. I like to say that nobody passes through my space without picking something. Okay?
Your advice to parents who have children with cerebral palsy.
Every child is a gift from God. And I believe that God has a purpose for giving us children that are not exactly perfect because He wants to teach us a lesson. Probably because He believes that we have a special potential to do well with those children. And when we fail to do that, then we can't have said that we've done a good job. But when we do that, then we will see that our life takes on new meaning. It requires us, like I said, to get knowledge, to understand what the issue is, to come down to the level of that child, not to be worried about what the child cannot do, but to try to figure out what can the child do. And once you identify, no matter how small, you begin to maximize that child.
Thanks for being a part of our world today, sir.
I've enjoyed it, and I'm glad that you had such insightful questions to ask me.
The program will continue after the break. Stay tuned.
This disorder needs to be detected early in the child so that adequate and timely intervention is carried out. Symptoms and signs of cerebral palsy include